me and Becky equally decided that we will not talk about each other. And since that point, I have not talked about her. And since that point, I have not talked about her. At that point, I have not talked about her. You're obsessed with Karina Kaboom.
What's wrong with Karina Kaboom? She's a nice lady.
You're kidding, right?
You are the spy that Amber hired to look up her exes. You are the spy. They demand that I stop interviewing you, but I know what real star you are. Tell us your name. Jonathan. Hello everybody. In today's video, we're talking about Amberlynn Reid's ex's Beck and who she deems to be her ex that was just an affair in her head, Valentine, living rent-free in Amber's head. You see, Amberlynn does these Q&As that she posts on her community page and immediately deletes it. Don't worry, Pookie. Most of us have screenshots of all the questions that were asked. Here's the number one questions that were asked that Amberlynn refuses to answer. Then stop doing the Q&As on your community page. You're obviously deleting all your community pages because you feel guilty because it has tea on it. What did you lie about for Tommy? This has been the most voted question so far, but you ignored. Could it be possible that you knowingly dated someone who has interests, blah, blah, blah? And then there's another question about Tommy, right? How do you feel about Tommy supporting Beck and Destiny talking about you? Look, here's the bottom line in the situation. The number one asked question is about Tommy. If you think that deleting your community page right after, people ask you questions is gonna make people not see the questions, not only do we all screenshot the questions, but everyone is asking you about Tommy. If you cannot, as an adult, okay, sit there and talk about Tommy, then stop asking questions. The number one question from your audience is about Tommy. And I have zero respect for the idea that I can't talk about Tommy, but I can literally talk about everybody's wife and every other ex I've ever had. Answer the question about Tommy or your Q&As are not valid. Okay, so she's saying Beck is a liar. She's saying that Valentine is a liar. There's also a picture that was released with Amber in an item. I will say this. For somebody who is a documented liar to continuously say that everybody else is lying, I don't believe you. Everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. Please do not take anything I say seriously. I'm sharing my own opinions, not facts, on publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please do not go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, so Amber gets asked, why did Beck clean your dirty rags, your cloths? And Amber says, Beck, you didn't clean any cloths. There was no cloths that Beck cleaned. You're lying.
She would use washcloths to wipe. She would set them on the corner of the sink, and then she would throw them away. Our roommates started to notice that their late mother's washcloths were disappearing. And they confronted her about it, and she wanted me to lie to them for her, but I didn't. She ended up buying more washcloths for herself, and instead of throwing them away, she had me wash them in the sink and then put them in the washer.
I don't believe you. You not only stole the cloths of the late mother of your roommates, you stole their cloths, okay? You stole their rags, you stole their washcloths, you used it in the lavatory, and then you begged Beck not to tell them about it. And then when they started noticing that their late mother's washcloths were missing, what happened is that you started buying your own. That should have been something you were doing from the start. How dare you take away priceless heirlooms from someone's late mother and use it in the lavatory? That's literally who you are. But then Beck told us that you were forcing them to wash your rags in the sink. And I don't believe a person that has a documented history of lying is telling the truth now. So she's accusing Beck of lying to you about the washcloths. Now, remember in the last video, I told you that Amber forgets all her lies and you can't trust anything she says, in my opinion. She literally said in the last live stream or video or something like that, that at least when Beck said embarrassing things about her, they were true. So now they're not true. You see how she immediately flip-flops. Yes, I believe Beck had to wash her dirty rags. I think it's sad that you're obsessed with Beck and obsessed with Valentine. For those of you that don't know, Amberlynn thought that she was dating somebody. The woman was just in her head. She did not meet up with her ever. It was a married woman, Valentine/Erica, who literally told Amber that she was married from the very beginning. And the majority of Amber's Q&A is her obsessing over Valentine. and Valentine's wife especially. Okay, so the first thing to say about this video is that you have misleading metadata, which is against the TOS, for your whole video. Anyone that didn't see this video will believe my whole relationship was a lie, is that this is about Tommy. Okay, they're not going to think that it is about, oh, and I regret ever being in it. Right. People will believe and think that after looking at this thumbnail that you are, like, crying over Tommy and all of that. The thumbnail of her crying isn't actually about, like, Tommy or even Valentine slash Erica. So this is misleading metadata. And she did get punished for this a long time ago when she had, like, more people following her. Amber, the cheap clickbait that you constantly do is so pointless, because even though I knew that it was not about Tommy, and I think some of your audience that already understands, like, the way you behave online knew it too. This is just sad to do to people. Why did you make videos about Tommy saying she broke up with you when you were still together? This is just sick. And you refuse to answer it, so stop making community page posts. No one, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. Like, I'm doing this video because this is her new drama, but most people care about your relationship with Tommy. They don't care about a woman you never met, which brings me to my first point. So she reads out one of the questions on her community page, and she says, basically, Erica is definitely my ex. Not only is she not your ex, but she literally owes you nothing. I say that Amber was the other woman in the relationship to quickly explain the dynamic to my audience, but I think most people here understand that at some point you should probably meet the person you're in a relationship with. You never met. There's a moment in the video where Amber just completely loses it. Like, at this point, I have to say that I don't even know if people can actually be mad at you per se for what you say about the relationship, not your actions. People can definitely be mad at you for your actions, but I don't even know if you fully comprehend what's going on here, Amber. Amber actually says in this video that her and Valentine slash Erica were partners. Amber, if you never met somebody, they're not your partner. You know what a partner is? It's someone that takes you to the emergency room. It's somebody that stays up with you at night when you're ill. It's someone that you're running errands with. It's someone you do everything for. It's someone who will do everything they can in the world to help you. It's a really life partner. That's what you're talking about. I mean, obviously there's partners in business, but I know she means romantic life partner. Even in a business partnership, the two people are literally, like, together helping each other through. You stalked out her and her wife's whole life and put them on 360, which person's location, where the person's location is. You stalked out her and her wife's whole life like Paulie D on the Jersey Shore, and you have the audacity to say that you were partners. Amber, you know what? If anyone ever wants to draw a line in the sand about this ridiculous trolling affair, it's when Amberlynn Reid, full grown adult apparently, supposedly an adult, actually says that a woman she never met who she knew was married from day one was her partner. How so? She sent her inappropriate videos and she texted her. And that was the extent of their relationship. Amber, get a grip, get help. How sad is it that there's not a single person in your life currently, your mommy, for example, or maybe your stepdaddy, for example, that could sit you down and be like, you're an adult. She wasn't your girlfriend. She wasn't your partner. Once she said that a woman she never met who was trolling her, who she knew, I'm going to make this very, very clear. This distinction needs to be made. Amber says in this video that she didn't know that the woman was married, and then says that she did know that the woman was married. She says, well, she told me that she was married, but, it was for financial reasons. And then she says, I only found out that she was married 8 months in. That's what she says in this video. Which one is it?
Obviously, Amber knew from day one that this woman was married. Again, from my last video, why didn't Amberlynn go visit Valentine, but made mommy drive her 19 hours to visit Tommy? She knew the woman was married from day one. That's why she never visited her. This woman never visited you. You never met in person. How dare you claim a partnership of any kind with somebody that sent you 17 emojis and you sent them videos that are now leaked on the internet? Like, honestly, Amber, get help. She then goes on to say that, as always, Valentine lied to her. It was one in a spider webs of lies that Valentine told her. There has to be an end to this. You are a pathological deceiver. You have more than 3 videos, I think it's like 5 or 6 on your channel, explaining all the intricate lies that you told on this website for no apparent reason, because you are a deceiver and nothing that comes out of your mouth is the truth. You lie about so many pointless things. Here's an example. She has continuously told her audience that she unblocked everyone she blocked. She blocked me a long time ago. No one can see any comment that I make in her live stream because she still has me blocked. Why did you go on one of your members only live stream and say that you unblocked me when I'm clearly still blocked? That was a pointless lie. What was the point of that? Like, it's irrelevant. I'm very happy being blocked and I don't want to interact at all, okay? So my question would be, can you explain to me the point of all of your lies? Amber, how is it possible that you, a pathological deceiver, is the one that's always telling the truth, but every single one of your girlfriends that comes out and says anything is lying? Destiny is lying. Beck is lying. Valentine is lying. Why? Why do you want us to believe you, a well-documented, intentional deceiver, over people that are sharing their stories? Like, while I believe that everyone lies from time to time, there is no way that I would believe you over anybody. Like, oh, you were deceived. Well, you know what? Honestly, at this point, this is my stance. You have a documented, well documented history of lying. Like, I would just be so embarrassed on the internet if I had a documented history of lying and accusing others of lying. She actually didn't lie to you. I want, if you're going to go on with this and Valentine is living rent free in your head, I want actual examples of her lies. She told you from day one she was married, and then later you found out that she was still married. So, what did you find out? What did she lie to you about? She was married from day one and told you about it. See, when she was trolling you in the beginning, which is the only reason she contacted you in the beginning, she could have just not told you that she was married, but she chose to be honest. Why did you lie to us when you went on TikTok and said, I was cheated on? No, you were the other woman. How were you cheated on? You were no one in her life. Text, do you know how easy it is to text somebody? This was a made up affair in your mind. You were never partners. She was no one to you. She's still no one to you, and I hope that she exposes you forever. Then she says something that is just so on the cusp of this definitely never happened magazine on page 700 never happened, that I can't even begin to explain it. Okay, so every single time Amber has a relationship and it ends and the girl runs away, Amber comes to us and says, this person was so in love with me. She fell so hard in love with me. She was so deeply in love with me. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that's no. Okay, so she did this with Wifey. She said that Wifey was so in love with her. Wifey ran away as soon as she could. She dropped you off in Oklahoma, took you to Target once, and left that day. She didn't even try to relax and stay. That's how much she loved you. Also, I don't care. Listen, I don't care who says what. People need to hear this, because the worst thing is believing a lie, and the worst thing is literally living your life like Hans Christian Amberlynn over here. And Hans Christian Amberlynn believes everybody loves her. Just because somebody says that they love you on the internet that you never met, Yeah, it doesn't mean it's true. And lots of times people tell you in real life, even when they do know you, that they love you and they don't. Look, if somebody really loves you, and unless there is like special circumstances why they're leaving, like there's a serious event in their life or whatever it is. 90% of the time, my opinion is if somebody loved you enough, they'd stay. No, wifey didn't love you. That's why she dumped you. She didn't love you. She left. She ran away. Then she says that Tommy loved her so much. While I believe, this is just my personal opinion, not a fact, yeah, I think Amber still talks to Tommy, but Tommy doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. She doesn't love you. Tommy let us know publicly on her Instagram that the love of her life was her former partner, not you. And so in this video, she goes, "Oh, Valentine and her wife were trolling me in the beginning." Yes, that is wrong. I'm going to say it one more time. It was wrong what they did. Do I think that Amber deserved it? Honestly, yes. Amber has trolled her audience for years. What do you think you're going to get in response? But yes, it was not right that Valentine and the wife trolled Amber, and they probably shouldn't have done it. And if I was like anyone involved in that whole thing, I would not continue to antagonize Amber. But you know what, Amber? I have zero sympathy bones for you with the way that you treat people, okay? So, yes, it was wrong to troll, but then Amber drops this. Well, she fell in love with me so much. She loved me so much. No, she didn't. She didn't even care enough about you to literally meet up with you. I know that the majority of people that meet up with their, eventual long distance partners usually meet up with them before they even love them. And you couldn't get that. Amber, I don't know who you're trying to convince on youtube.com that you were so loved, but obviously it's you. By the way, I just wanted to say something. I have never, not once in my entire life, heard of anyone in my real life after a breakup or even on YouTube go on a filibuster about how much they were loved. Amber, get over it. She trolled you. She may have had some type of feelings for you, but ultimately you weren't important enough to her because she never even met you. She told you she was married from day one, and you, being the homewrecker and the other woman in theory, not in real life, that you are sitting here bragging about how much love you received from someone that you admit deceived you. The only deceiving part was you coming onto the internet pretending you were in a relationship and then having enough audacity to come on TikTok and be like, "Oh, I was cheated on." You mean she was with her wife that she told you about from the start? No, I don't believe there was any love. How come nobody goes around and says, "My ex loved me so much. I was so loved by my ex"? I don't understand, like, what is going on in the lives of the other adults in your life that no one can sit you down and be like, "Listen, this wasn't a real relationship. It was in your head. She told you she was married. You trolled people for years. What do you expect?" Okay, so the next part of her video discusses Valentine's wife yet again, and a picture that has been circulating of Amber. It is a picture of Amber with an item. And I do know that Despectful Moments posted it, and then the picture was taken down. My opinion here is that Amber and the people that she is involved with to spy on other people are responsible for that. Amber did say in one of her members only live streams that she has people that spy for her, which is like really sad for you, Amber. I really hope you get a real hobby. Okay, so she then goes on to say that Valentine's wife needs to move on from her, that Valentine and the wife are obsessed with her, and basically people are using this photo from a video or whatever that she supposedly only sent Valentine, as revenge, and she feels that people need to listen to her and don't break the law. Thanks, Amby. Can I call you Pookie? Nobody cares about what you say. I certainly have no sympathy bone for you here. Ordinarily, I would feel bad, but this is my opinion, okay? So I think that Amber sent these type of videos and pictures to multiple women. I do not believe her that she only sent it to Valentine. Also, it's great that a full-grown adult like you, Amber, don't understand things that get taught to teenagers nowadays in high schools. Basically, do not send any type of photos, okay, to people you don't know or even people you do know. Do not send those type of pictures anywhere, okay? You didn't know who she was, and you absolutely were talking to a stranger. It's so wild to me that this woman has trolled the internet and didn't think she was going to get trolled right back. I said in my videos around that time when she was dating Valentine that I thought she was being trolled, and here we are. Ed, yes, it's wrong. Obviously, like, who even, honestly, I have to say, I can't believe anyone cares enough about this woman to even do that, but to each his own. I will say this, okay? I think that Amber doesn't understand that she'll never identify the leak because, and this is the most important thing. So, my opinion, as I've said, is that I think that she sent it to a lot of people. But what she doesn't understand is that even if she did send it to one person, then they could have forwarded and forwarded and forwarded to hundreds of people, thousands of people, and somebody else could have leaked it. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And we've been through this topic when we talked about it before. Amberlynn Reid went on social media and said she did not care that another channel, Narcolert, had a heart attack, a human being having a heart attack, and said that she has no sympathy bone for her. Okay, I have no sympathy bone for you. Honestly, what do you expect? You are an infamous public figure sending out those type of pictures to complete strangers on the internet, and again, not understanding the idea of someone else can forward it to somebody else, and then it can be forwarded to thousands and hundreds of people, and you'll never really know who the leak is, okay? I do not encourage you to go find this picture at all. Ugh. Okay, this is my opinion. I understand that what the wife and Valentine did was wrong with the trolling. Yes, it was wrong. I don't know how many times I could say that it was wrong, but the thing is, for Amber not to understand why the wife of Valentine would not like Amber after Amber like came in between her and her wife is really weird. Like, do you think you're going to be her favorite person? Like, take any responsibility for your awful and terrible behavior. The person that owed, and very important, I always say this in all my videos, the person that owed obviously her wife loyalty and respect was Valentine, and Valentine was wrong to cheat, and obviously Amber didn't owe the wife any respect or loyalty. It was Valentine's problem. But to completely absolve Amber's actions in this is wild, and I won't. Amber, your actions are just as bad as Valentine, and honestly, she keeps saying in this video, well, this is all because I called out Valentine's wife because she keeps posting about me on Instagram. Can I ask you all a serious question? I know, worse than anybody you know. We are all talking about public figures here. Why is it that Valentine's wife is not allowed to say something about Amber on Instagram to troll her when the entire internet has trolled Amberlynn Reid after she trolled them for 11 years? Leave your dislikes in the dislikes down below. All of this over a sweater that Amber bought from Torrid that says, "Why are you so obsessed with me?" which I believe is a Mean Girls reference. Who cares what it says? Amber, do you understand that lots of reaction channels purchase this sweater in order to troll you, and other people just purchase the sweater because you are not the only one that's allowed to purchase from Torrid? The other day when I made a video and I talked about the sweater, right? One of my subscribers, people watching videos saying, "Oh, I love Amber's hauls. I buy the stuff that she buys because sometimes like she shows me what to buy." Okay, so the wife, Valentine, wore this sweater and Amber can't get over it. Well, Amber, I guess you are in a very big situation, big drama that could have been avoided with your own actions of not sending pictures to strangers. At what point do you take any responsibility for your own behavior? You were talking to a married woman and sending her pictures? Did you think this would end well, you being an infamous public figure? During this amazing Q&A, she answers some ridiculous question, and she's like, well, I would never be with a man because I'm a lesbian, which is great. That's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with people like asking you these type of questions when you clearly have stated that even recently enough you were interested in a man. She then gets asked, like, do you understand that lying for other people is still lying? And she's like, you would lie too if it was to protect somebody else. No, Amber, you lying for 2+ years that you were dating multiple different women, wifeys, when you were dating one, is your choice. You lie for the greater good of you. Do not dare try to compare us to you. Most people are not pathological deceivers. She then gets asked, like, how do you handle all the mean comments? And she's like, I don't know how I do it. I'll tell you how she does it. She has a negative interest from her audience, and it's that negative interest that pays the bills. If people enjoyed her content and loved her, she would not make any money. She does it for the money. She works very little amount of time, and I shudder shudder. Okay, this is a vocabulary channel. I shudder to say that what she does is actual work. She barely puts in the effort. Like, I'm sorry, like compared to people that edit, no. Okay. She then gets asked, like, is like about like the support that she gets and all these like comments, and she tells us that she would never pretend to be herself and she doesn't have sock accounts. Amber, you did pretend to be yourself. Damon White, if you don't know what I'm talking about, she infiltrated a Facebook group about herself, trashed herself there, and said positive things about herself. So, like, how unhinged is it to get somebody else's Facebook, go on it, pretend to be a man, and trash yourself and say positive things about yourself just to see what people are saying about you? Like, please, Amber. And then she's like, oh, whenever anyone like, you know, stands up for me, they get told, hi, Amber. Hey, Amber, how do you know that? You don't read the comments. That is true. Whenever people say things to, you know, positive about Amber, people do say, hi, Amber. I thought that Amberlynn did not look anything up about herself. I thought that Amberlynn was not interested in any information about herself. Hey, Amber, how do you know that that picture was released? Look, this is the bottom line. I feel that it is in like amazingly disrespectful, aka disrespectful, to continuously go on the internet and be like, I don't look up anything about myself. I never look at what people are saying. People send me stuff. When you clearly know every single thing, the minute that something happens, the minute that anyone says anything, she knows it. She sits home all day and looks everything up about herself. And you know what? That's your choice. Then why not admit to that? To have the audacity to blatantly lie to her audience and be like, well, I don't look anything up about myself. Then how did you know that picture was released? Then how do you know everything that's happening? How do you know that Valentine's wife is talking about you on Instagram? You blame her for looking you up. You look her up, okay? You are a stage 100 clinger. Okay. So, as far as her knowing that people constantly say, hey, Amber, to her sock accounts, and she's like, that's not me. I just see how people react to everything. Yes. Amber, you see like what people are saying to your sock accounts because you are the sock accounts, not because somebody told you in an Instagram DM. Like, how would you know that people say, hey, Amber, to all of your positive comments? Also, she's constantly trying to make the point that the people that support her in private are scared to support her in public. And since she keeps talking about it, I'll keep saying it again. If they really supported you, they would support you in public. People that genuinely support you are not afraid of opposition and dissent. If they are afraid of opposition and dissent, it's because, in my opinion, they don't really believe what they're saying. And I've said this before. I think all the fake support that she has is just people trolling her. She still doesn't know that. Yes, there's some people, I want to make this clear, that genuinely enjoy her, but please, Amber, okay? So my favorite part of the video was when she was talking about like the voice notes that she's making people send her, which is just like, Amber, none of this is making you have a good relationship with your audience. Nobody cares about this. This doesn't actually give your channel what you think it will, like your lint review or your community sipping. Go sip somewhere else, okay? So basically, she says that out of all the little interview things that people, all the voice notes that people sent her, she hasn't heard a bad one. Amber, how is that humanly possible? Like, do you actually believe the lies that you tell us? I don't even have to explain that one. All right, so that's about it for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wish Amberlynn Reid all the best. Obviously, all of your exes are living rent-free in your head. Enjoy that, Ambi. Can I call you Pookie? All right, let me know what you thought about this video in the comments down below. Thank you all so very much for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, check out this other video that's popping up here. And I will see you next time. Bye.